What's your best why should we hire you? Response. Literally, a candidate once said, because I'm good. I know I'm good. I have the data to show I'm good. And based on this interview, you know I'm good too. And to be fair, she wasn't is. I actually got into my current job with this attitude. I didn't use the same language, but I had the attitude of there is no one else you can hire but me, because I'm the best fit. Had a conversation with my boss yesterday where he said I've done great since day one, and he trusts me as a leader on my team. A repost of a previous comment of mine. This is a variation on a theme as I was already working with the company. It's /networking consultancy, but when I moved from contractor to full-time I was offered what I considered to be less than what I was worth to my company, so I countered by asking for 15% more than what was offered. Boss, so as yeah, for what you're asking we can get someone with 10 years of experience and arguably more qualified. Why do you think you're worth this much? Me, well I've been working here for about 18 months now as a contractor. You know how I operate, and I'm good at what I do. Boss, yes, and me, and ultimately how can you expect me to go out to customer sites to represent the company's best interests if I can't come in here and represent my own? Boss, good answer. Scribbles on paper giving me my pay bump. To this day I still don't know where I got that saying from, or the balls to say it. What can your company offer to make me want to work for you? I had an incredible recruiter, and she taught me to interview the company I was working for where it was less about me convincing them I was worthy and them trying to convince me to accept the offer. It's important to show that you have standards and expectations that you expect the company to uphold. Current company promised that they would help me grow into more senior roles during the interview, and every time I think I've reached the limits of my role I bring up their promise, and we discuss whether or not a promotion/raise is in line, and if it isn't, what I need to do, and what they need to do to help me get there. I had been employed at a bank doing what is known as the update. It was updating the bank's mainframe computer system from the day's banking so that everything could be posted and ready for the next day's work. I was the only one in the area who is ever hired for that job that could do it correctly. I quit the job to go back to school, and a couple of years later, I was approached literally in the grocery store by my supervisor who just straight up said, if you ever want that job back we'd be glad to have you. I needed a job, so I told her to put me down the next time the job was open. She told me it wouldn't be very long, and within a few days she was calling me and asking me to come in for an interview. There was no question from the time I walked in the door. I went into the computer room. I looked at the computer terminal, which was basically the same. The function sheet, that is the checklist that we were supposed to use, was basically the same. They said, do you have any questions? And I said, when do I start? They looked at each other and just said, when would you like to start? It didn't work because for some reason they thought I'd jumped through all the hoops, dressed up nice, and come all the way out here for shit, giggles, and to be told by about a dozen people, oh my god, is that you? I haven't seen you since you were so little. Tell your mom I said hi. They were hiring at the design company my mommy's was on off-site digitizer for. Laid her off after 22 years without so much as a warning. We are not bitter or anything. Anyway, before they shot themselves in the foot, they were hiring for another department. So I applied because I'd moved back to the area. I knew a lot of people, and it paid a lot better than the barely above minimum job I was working at the time. Came for a second in-person interview. The first was over the phone, a tour of the massive expansion they'd just undertaken, and another pointless test. They asked that question, and thinking I had it in the bag I got cocky. Well, you'll love my mom so much. I practically grew up here. I'm really excited to carry on the family legacy. They never so much as called me back. They finally told my mom that they thought I was just playing around. I got my hair done for that bullshit. I was pissed off long before my mom tried to log in, got a message to call her supervisor, and learned over the phone that they were laying off almost everybody without warning. They bit off more than they could chew by buying out the warehouse they'd been renting a corner of, renovating it, adding an in-house gym, a room full of snack machines, and a game room, along with catered bi-monthly lunches for the entire staff. They were trying to modernize, and they almost folded for it. I often ask candidates what makes them a good candidate for the position. I want to make sure they understand what the role is and how they can apply their skills, interests, and background to the position. In my opinion, the best answer to this question is one which demonstrates that you have a particular skill or some special source that you can apply to the work or the team to make it better. Most jobs, even ones which require specialized skills, can be done by multiple people who have the needed skill set. What interesting or unique aspect can you personally provide that sets you apart? Why do you want to work in department store? It's a paycheck. Let's be real here. Nobody wakes up in the morning super excited to be a cashier. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully not here. I'm really hoping my Twitch stream takes off so I can play video games all day for a living. Are there any departments you wouldn't feel comfortable working in? Toys and children's. I hate kids, and the only thing worse than kids are their parents. Why should we hire you? I'll never lie to you. Got the job. I got asked, tell me why should we hire you and not any of the other applicants? I said no. I don't know anything at all about the other applicants, and I know a lot less than you know about what kind of a person will do well here and will succeed here. You're the one with the experience and information and perspective here. I'm not going to act like I know better than you do in this situation. If you ask me about something I have experience and skill in, I'll challenge you if I think you're wrong. But you're the expert on this topic, not me. Being honest, I just got hired at a CPA firm recently. They are known for having extensive interviewing processes which last weeks, but I got hired on the spot. After a 2.5 hour long interview they asked why they should hire me. That is typical elevator pitch. I had a few years of experience, but just got my accounting degree, so I probably was not a top candidate. My answer was very simple. I don't know half of what is required to do this job, but I'm teachable. I'm here to learn and to help you. I'm respectful to clients and management, but do expect the same in return. I'm extremely loyal when treated with respect. They have had a problem with quick turnover. If you are willing to work with me, I will go out of my way for you. They asked for a break and came back with a written offer shortly after. They said I seemed like the only interviewee to give an honest response to that question that wasn't boastful. TL. Doctor got a job offer on the spot with a very competitive CPA firm from being honest about my limitations and expectations. My experience speaks for me. Edit. Literally said that to an interviewer and got the job almost immediately. They knew who they had sitting in front of them, and they weren't going to get another one like me for a very long time. Too bad they fucked up and didn't even consider any of my suggestions that comes from my experience and wasted all of the skills I have that they said they so desperately needed. Quit the job after a year and a half and wound up at a much better place. I was asked this just last week. The question was why should we hire you over another candidate? I was totally honest with them. I said because I'm honest, reliable and a dedicated hard worker. But then again, I'm sure that's what everyone else has said to you, and they're probably telling you the truth just like I am. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why you should hire me over someone else. That's entirely your decision to make. I probably have nothing more to offer you than any other candidate. The truth is I can't tell you why you should hire me over someone else because I don't know why you should. I'm no different to everyone else that has come to you with a job application. My first day was yesterday. Current job asked me this and had headhunted me from one of their customers. It caught me off guard and I bluntly told the GM, you approached me for this job so obviously you know why you should hire me. In context I didn't say it flippantly or arrogantly. He was reading from a script it seemed like, and the question didn't really fit the interview. I was also asked where do you see yourself in 5 years and my response was, that's a tough question to answer. 5 years is a long time. I'm looking at leaving my current employer because the opportunities I'm looking for aren't there. If the opportunities I'm looking for aren't here in a year or 5 years I'll be looking somewhere else again. During my last interview I said something like you need some young talented mind that has a different perspective. Someone who sees things different. By the way, searching for someone who may fit better could cost you a lot more time and money. Hiring me to test out how it turns out will be cheaper. I will quit my main job in 3 months if we fit. Otherwise I will leave if we do not fit. They hired me. We match perfectly and are now deep in building a new department within the company and both sides learn a lot. Know what you are worth and stand up to it. Be straightforward. No one wants employees that do not know what they can do. Side note, knew my now boss for a long time on a personal level through family and we came in contact by surprise during an event from my job back then. I got asked that for the job I currently work for. After answering all their questions that came from experience, I just kinda shot it back with, "You mean outside of the ones I've already provided?" Nervous laugh. Yeah. Well, if you can provide a work environment where people actually enjoy waking up to go to work here, I can provide you with all of my experience moving forward in the most loyal fashion possible. Needless to say, they've held up their part of their bargain and I've held up mine. It's been over a year and it's the longest I've held down a job. In the first year I got a 10k raise with a 2.5k bonus. I saved them 22k in the past 2 months.